can't hold back and shoots a mango right into the bin. His father then reveals that he was just pretending to be clumsy by shooting a mango into the farthest bin. Inspired, Deco joins his father in practicing with mangoes. The father begins to teach Deco his skills. Cut to a few years later, and Deco is now 15 years old. He now handles with mangoes with ease. His mother notices him practicing with his father, but decides not to intervene. She thinks about it all night and decides to call the football scout. She brings the man to observe Deco's practice from a distance. When Deco returns home, he's shocked to see Waldemar inside his home waiting for him. Waldemar suggests Deco participate in the trials of the local football club. Deco bids farewell to his family and travels to Santos. In the next scene, Deco is participating in a tryout session for the professional football team at Santos. The coach tells the students to forget about their primitive style they played at home and to master the techniques of the best teams in Europe. He scolds Deco for sticking to his usual style. After the tryout session, the kids gather in a building to find out who will stay on the team. Deco is disappointed not to find his name on the list for the junior team and is ready to leave the camp. However, an assistant then hangs the list for the youth team, where Deco finds his name and his training journey begins. Deco has to relearn how to kick a football using the side flip technique. After training each day, the coach shows them football matches, emphasizing that Brazil lost many of its matches due to the primitive playing style of Brazilian football players. In the evening, Waldemar observes Deco's desperate attempts to master the new technique, but all his efforts are in vain. The next scene shows Deco attempting to shoot a penalty, but failing. His teammates grumble that he never scores. That evening, he can't hold back his tears. Waldemar watches Deco leaving the camp with his suitcase. He finds Deco at a railway station.
Well. Leaving so soon?
Mr. De Brito, what are you doing here?
I was going to ask the same of you.
Deco replies that he feels like his way of playing football is not accepted in the academy, and that the coach does not like him.
And if I don't go back to school now, I'll end up cleaning toilets.
And what's wrong with that?
Cleaning toilets?
No, what's wrong with not playing the way the other guys do?
He tells him the story of this style. In the beginning of the 16th century, the Portuguese arrived in Brazil with African slaves. Many Africans escaped to the jungle. To protect themselves, they created ginga, the foundation of capoeira. When slavery was abolished, capoeira was outlawed. The capoeiristas saw football as a perfect way to practice ginga without being arrested. It evolved over time and became a part of Brazil. However, in the 1950 World Cup, many believed that the ginga style was the reason for Brazil's loss. Waldemar says that ginga is a part of Deco, and he can show the whole world who he really is, or he can get on his train, and he will never know. Waldemar leaves. Deco's train arrives, but he decides to stay. The next day, during the match, Deco makes some poor moves that disappoint both himself and his coach. Feeling desperate, he recalls training with his father using mangoes and notices Waldemar cheering him on. Inspired, he decides to play in his own style, dribbling the ball effortlessly past opponents. He ignores the coach's demands to stop. Eventually, he kicks the ball in the air like he practiced with the mangoes and sends it into the net for a goal in the most spectacular way. His teammates and the opponents congratulate him for the goal. The coach calls in and asks,
"What the hell was that?"
I'm sorry.
Do it again.
Deco continues to dazzle, scoring 4 goals in the match, garnering attention from the newspapers. Despite being the youngest player on the team, he starts building a reputation for himself. Meanwhile, his father listens to every game, cheering proudly for his son's achievements. One night, Waldemar observes Deco practicing shots with his old technique. He is surprised to see Deco fail to score a goal, but then he realizes that Deco intentionally shoots at the crossbar with all the balls. Soon after, new lists of players are hung on the wall. Deco can't find his name on it, but it turns out he has been promoted from the junior team to the pro team.
That's the wrong list, Chico. Welcome to the pros.
Playing matches with teams all around the country. Now, a lot of people come to his matches, eager to see how the 15-year-old phenom plays with his magical style. One day, his mother receives a delivery, but she hasn't ordered anything. It turns out Deco decided to